Welcome back, dear listener, to another journey through the dim corridors of history. Whether you're listening in the stillness of night or as the day begins to soften, I'm grateful you've chosen to share this time with me. Tell me in the comments, are you somewhere quiet and remote, or in the heartbeat of a city winding down? Tonight's tale isn't just gossip from ancient Rome. It's the story of a young woman who rose higher than anyone thought possible, who bent the most powerful man in the world to her will, and who ultimately flew too close to the sun. By the time we finish, you'll understand not only who Valeria Messalina was, but how her ambition reshaped the empire, and why her name became synonymous with scandal. The year is 41 CE. Emperor Caligula has been assassinated, leaving chaos in his wake. Out of this storm steps an unlikely ruler, Claudius, a scholarly man mocked for his limp and stammer, a man most had dismissed as weak. Yet suddenly, he is master of the Roman world. And beside him, barely 16 years old, stands his bride, Valeria Messalina. She is radiant, descended from the bloodlines of Augustus and Mark Antony. For Claudius, she is more than a wife, she is legitimacy itself. Within a year, she gives him a son, Britannicus, a symbol of dynastic continuity. To Rome, she is Empress and mother of the future. To herself, she is something more, a player in the most dangerous game of all. While Claudius busies himself with laws, infrastructure, and books, Messalina learns to whisper in his ear. She allies with freedmen who control imperial secrets. She befriends ambitious nobles eager for her favor. And she discovers something fateful. Claudius trusts her blindly. When she hints that a senator plots treason, he listens. When she recommends someone for office or someone's removal, he obeys. Without ever holding a title, she becomes one of the most powerful figures in Rome. But power rarely rests quietly. The more she is obeyed, the bolder she grows. At first, her influence is hidden, but soon it bursts into public life. She begins appearing at gladiatorial shows with her own entourage, larger than the emperor's. She hosts lavish feasts where senators rub shoulders with actors and gladiators, defying Rome's rigid social order. The feasts become infamous, part revelry, part political theater. Ancient writers describe days-long banquets, shocking entertainments, and a young empress who seemed untouchable. Rumors swirl that she spies on her guests, that secrets whispered over wine soon find their way to the emperor's desk. Whispers turn to fear, senators tremble, nobles bow low. Everyone knows to cross Messalina is to risk ruin. Her enemies begin to vanish. A senator reluctant to yield his wife's alliance is accused of treason. Another man, rich with gardens she covets, mysteriously faces trial and execution. Claudius, naive, signs the orders. Soon Rome's elite learn the lesson. Cooperate and you may thrive. Resist and you may not live to regret it. By now, Messalina is not just an empress. She is a shadow ruler. And like all who wield fear, she begins to believe herself invincible. But invincibility is a dangerous illusion. By 48 CE, Messalina commits her boldest act yet. With Claudius away, she marries another man, Gaius Silius, one of the handsomest nobles in Rome, in what some sources describe as a full public wedding. Was it madness, a political coup, a desperate gamble to replace Claudius before he realized how much she had taken from him? Historians still debate her motives, but whatever the truth, the spectacle was too much to ignore. When news reached Claudius, he was shattered. The emperor who had trusted her above all else finally saw the betrayal. Enter Narcissus, Claudius's secretary and loyal freedman. For years, he had watched her rise with growing alarm. Now he seized the moment. He convinced Claudius that swift action was the only way to save his throne. Messalina fled to the garden she had once stolen through intrigue, hoping for mercy. She begged for an audience, certain that her beauty and tears could sway Claudius one last time, but Narcissus ensured she never reached him. In the quiet of those gardens, soldiers found her. Sources differ. Some say she tried to take her own life and failed, others that an officer finished the deed. She was only about 20 years old. Thus ended the life of Valeria Messalina, Rome's scandalous empress. To her enemies, she was a monster of lust and ambition. To others, she was a young woman trapped in a system that feared powerful women, whose story was twisted by the pens of men who hated her. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere between. What we know is this: she rose higher than almost any Roman woman before her. She bent emperors, senators, and generals to her will, and in the end, her appetite for power consumed her. Her name became legend, not as a queen, not as a mother, but as a warning, a reminder of how intoxicating and how dangerous unchecked power can be. So, dear listener, as the echoes of Messalina's tale fade, I leave you with a thought. Was she truly a villain, or a mirror reflecting Rome's own corrupt heart? Until next time, rest well and remember, history always whispers, if we choose to listen.